What is up, everyone? Surprise, 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 surprise. We are here Sunday night. We're about to see what happens between Raw versus SmackDown in the Den. What is up, everyone? You already know Nikki Bougie in the house. Tonight's surprise on a Sunday night. The Salt Shakers normally come to you with WWE Raw versus SmackDown on that good Monday before Raw. But tonight, we're a little early. Of course, I'm not alone. Dreon Santana in the building. I told you I was going to wear my
I mean, how
SmackDown.
long have you had this SmackDown Live shirt? To be honest,
So Mela, when Carmella was doing the, like, what is it? Like, Staten Island, when she would do all that.
the Princess of Staten Island shit.
Yeah. She had this cheetah, like she had this cheetah shirt, and I bought it. And I got it. I got the SmackDown shirt. Because SmackDown was like, during that time, was really my favorite. Like,
Yeah,
it's really, it's always been to me the better show,
it's.
honestly.
I mean, there were moments where I feel like SmackDown was definitely the better show. Like since it
Yeah.
even started back in the '90s. But it was just like Monday Night Raw. They had enough time to just do a lot of things that SmackDown wasn't. So I mean, we're in a new time now.
Yeah.
Still 2 hour shows for SmackDown, 3 hour for Raw, and
Absolutely.
sometimes I feel like they try to fill in everything for Raw anyway.
That is true. I feel like, yeah, there is a lot that goes on with Monday Night Raw, and it
Hmm.
makes you just sometimes forget. But at least they finished the story. Not all, but some.
Some people are still trying to finish it.
They will. They will. They definitely will.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, but I mean, we have to start off with Mondays, of course. We go from Monday to Friday, of course. Monday Night Raw. Mm. I really think it's funny that on last week's episode, I did forget to say anything about the announcement at the end, about War Games, about anything. Okay. The reasoning being is because I knew we were going to talk about it regardless. And it was the men. Okay. Santana's getting all the good women. Once again, spoiler alert, I think SmackDown wins, but whatever. We get into Raw. Pause. And we open up with Cody Rhodes, and he is announcing team. His team, right? Very interesting. People that he's been friends with, people that he's just becoming friends with, and people that he, I don't know, doesn't get along with too much. Seth Rollins, very interesting dynamic that we had to see, but they do have one enemy in common, along with their partners, Sami Zayn and Jay Uso, and that is the Judgment Day. Now, very clear, the Judgment Day seems to always keep up the prestige of saying, oh, well, we don't have a leader. Well, that all changed this Monday night when Damian Priest was when Damian Priest made it very clear that he is the leader. I don't have much to say about this, but I am dying to know what Santana has to say about Damian Priest saying that he is the leader of Judgment Day.
I don't have an issue with it. I mean, the thing is that I listen. I've never said that Damien was the leader of Judgment Day. There's been other people who have claimed that Damien Priest is the leader of the Judgment Day outside of Rhea Ripley. You know what I'm saying? Every one of them have had their own time to be the leader in certain situations that it is. And right now, it definitely does seem like Damien Priest is the leader. And everybody's so worried about who's the leader, who's the leader, who's the leader. Doesn't matter. Equally enough, they're all dominating whatever they're doing, except for JD, who's whatever. We'll get into that later. But I do feel like Damien, in this sense, as of right now, Damien is next in line after Rhea Ripley, if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying? Rhea may be, the brains or the, orchestrating a lot of different things and pulling a lot of strings, but when Rhea Ripley is not around, y'all talking to Damien and looking at him as the leader. You know what I'm saying? So like if he says he's the leader, then by God, he's the leader. Simple as that. So I mean, Finn, you had your time being leader. Dominic, you know damn where you will not be a leader. And JD, yeah, that's about it. But I don't if Damien say he's a leader, then he's a leader. I listen to my man. If he say he's the leader, then he's the leader of the Judgment Day. He is. I don't care how many people side eye him. If he say he's the goddamn leader, then Damian Priest is the leader. Okay. So
Okay. Now, for our pure wrestling fans, we don't want to piss them off. So, of course, we had to get to some wrestling action, not just talking all night long. There was a tag team match between Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn teaming up to go against uh, Dominic and
hi
JD.
Troy.
Hi. Very interesting match, but it didn't end too well because obviously we know how this goes. Judgment Day comes out, including Rhea Ripley as well, which we'll talk about her a little later because, honey, she had to stay around. But Damien and Finn interrupt the match. And of course, we see Cody and Jay run out and even out the odds as well. The problem is Adam Pearce is very fed up and he's very pissed off. I enjoy seeing him like this, but not to too much of the extent. Um, he made it very clear that in the main event tonight, which, as we announced last week, it is going to be Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso trying to get those titles back from Damian and Finn. Uh, and he made it very clear that if you're not involved in that match tonight and you are involved in War Games, I need you immediately out of the building. That included Miss Rhea Ripley. He made it very clear, honey, I don't want to see your little pretty face. It's kind of like, why would you tell her that? But whatever, that's not the point. Rhea decides that she's going to take matters into her own hands when it comes to the Judgment Day. And sometimes I think she gets a little baffled with what's going on with her own situation. Zoe Starks comes out and makes it very clear, of course, her being the number one contender for their match that will take place at Survivor Series. Zoe Stark is very confident in beating Rhea Ripley at this point. Even trying, when frankly, my dear, I just don't give a damn. Even when Rhea tries to attack Zoe, Zoe seems to have one step ahead. Very impressive. But can Rhea get her thoughts together and take out her opponent? Because listen, when it was four other opponents for Rhea, you know, that was that was that was a little different. Those matches can go so many different ways. So that does prove her dominance. All right.
I don't even know what to go. I don't know. Rhea Ripley is gonna have a little bit of her handful with Zoe Stark because Zoe Stark is a great wrestler, honestly. Now, Mike Skill, she's not the best at all whatsoever. I don't think she
Yeah.
did in her promo against Rhea Ripley. We know that Rhea can talk, and everything like that. But I feel like I know a lot of people have their own thoughts on Zoe Stark about, oh, I don't feel like she's, been built up properly or anything like that. Building starts in NXT. I know when we get the main roster, it's like a fresh start, something new to be built up. But Zoe's been built since she popped her ass up at Crown. What was it? Was it Saudi for Trish and Becky? Like she's been built up since then. You know what I'm saying? And she's been in matches and working her way up. You got to be able to give these girls opportunities. I always talk about, oh, we want to see new people. We want to see new people get opportunities. New people get opportunities, and y'all always got something to say.
Yeah.
And then y'all wonder why we still stuck. We always end up getting the same people over and again because y'all complain about the new people that we get because you feel like they're not built up, to your liking. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So,
I think any four of those women could have faced her.
Yeah.
Easily. We'll find out why two of them aren't facing her a little later, which we'll get into their little backstage debacle. Going back to the men, we saw Shinsuke make it very clear that he is the top bitch in the game. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, honey. Like Shinsuke is clearing the girls. He is it. He's the moment, and he made it very clear. Like, stop playing, win or lose. It doesn't matter. I'm still at the top of the game. And he proved that tonight. Well, on Monday Night Raw, when he defeated Otis. Now, after that match, it was very evident that Chad Gable was not feeling it at all. And probably going to lead to something between these two because Shinsuke, he just be laughing. Everything is, honey, like,
it's a
not
mind
so
game.
serious. He really gives me Jocelyn Hernandez vibes. He really does.
He just be toying with
Yeah,
them a lot.
he really does. We move on to the women. We see, of course, one half of the tag team champions, Piper Niven, taking on Tegan Nox. Now, before the match, we saw a very empowering package for Tegan Nox. Talking about she doesn't want to be the one to be known as Miss Injury. That's what people know her for.
That's
Which kind
true.
of sucks. But she wants to prove herself, and she did just that. When at first Piper seemed to be dominating Tegan. Tegan started to get more of the momentum. However, during the match, of course, we see Chelsea and Natalya. Now, let me tell you, Natalya gave a nasty forearm to Miss Chelsea Green, planting her to the ground right before Tegan Nox goes for the pin and literally fold. It's like she folded Piper. 1, 2, 3.
She did.
She did.
To be exact, I think this is a great showcasing for her too because
Yeah.
I mean, everybody have their jokes about Tegan, being injury prone, and every time she doesn't try to make a comeback, she always end up having to deal with that same injury. So luckily, as of right now, she's been,
Yeah.
working alongside Natty, which you can't go wrong with that. And I mean, I think eventually, somewhere down the line, we could see Tegan and Natty go after those tag team titles since they're kind of sort of in this feud with Chelsea and Piper, and it's kind of been going on for a couple of weeks now. So. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think that, they get a pin over one half of the tag team champions. Maybe this could be a moment for them to get their opportunity. Not sure when it will happen, but Chelsea and Natalia have to run their little. Ooh, honey, that video that she put out, everything. Hey, Natalia is,
Or when she dressed up like Macrodona,
yes,
yes,
that's
I
what I'm
mean,
talking
Zack
about.
Ryder.
Like
Sorry, Zack
Zack
Ryder.
Ryder, yes, that's what I'm talking about. She was like, every,
Hilarious. Like, girl, please. You play for me.
just, she's so, Natalia is so monumental. And then we move on, of course, honey, listen. After that loss, Piper not feeling that. Shout out to Chelsea with this bodysuit on, honey.
Mm.
We also get to back to the man. We get a one-on-one match between Kaiser and Tommaso Ciampa. Now, during the match, Vinci was thrown out because of his behavior, sent to the back. Later on in the match, he gives a big boot to the face of Johnny Gargano. And when I tell you, it shatters Tommaso Ciampa, leading to Kaiser getting the victory, leading to Vinci getting the applause and the utmost respect from Imperium leader himself and Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. Now, Kaiser was the one that got the pin and got the win, but Gunther made it very clear it was Vinci that got the win for Imperium tonight. Now that was really like, girl, let me tell you something. If we did like a shady moment of the night or some shit, Gunther, you are shady as hell. Cause you also told Miz and made it very clear to Miz that he would be getting a beating of his lifetime.
That is true, honestly.
But I like you, Gunther, because you said you wanted Charlotte and or EO. No, y'all did. So I ain't mad at it because I would love to see that, but
He didn't have to do Luke weird like that because even though
yeah,
Giovanni did was the one who made the assist to help Kaiser get that victory, it's still just like, come on now. The man was out there putting on a really good match with Ciampa, and
yeah,
because Giovanni decided he wanted to be a distraction and everything, he helped. But at the end of the day, it was Kaiser's match. It wasn't Giovanni's match. Giovanni wasn't able to get his victories, and you was like, I feel like you really trying to tour between both of them because when Ludwig was, assist Giovanni a little bit, you gave the like praise to Ludwig.
hmm,
But when Giovanni helped Ludwig, you did the same thing to Giovanni. So it's like you really trying to cause a wedge between those two,
yeah,
and I don't like that. Like don't stop. Y'all all supposed to be on the same team working together. You know what I'm saying? Why are you trying to? You're trying to like what is this? This is your way to try to spark a friendly competition between them, see who can, get the victory for Imperium, or what?
yeah.
I don't know. That's a man business.
I don't, honey. That is the man business, honey. And let me tell you something. Normally, I stay out of it, but this week, I'm definitely gonna be into it, baby. We do have to get back to the women for now. Xia Li has a match with Indy Hartwell that once again ends where her opponent, who is Indy Hartwell, cannot compete. And that's that on that. And that's how the match decimates.
Um,
Poor Indy. I know she's going to get better soon. I know things are going to turn around for her, hopefully. But after that, of course, Becky Lynch is not over what Xia Li did to her last week. Obviously, she took Becky out of the chance of possibly facing Rhea for the championship, in that battle royal. And she because of that, she took herself out the match too for attacking Becky. What's the and Xia Li was very slick with Becky. Becky wanted to fight, and Xia was like, "Let me get the fuck up out of here." We'll have to see what happens down the line with Miss Xia Li and Becky. Becky did make it very clear that she will be facing her uh, this coming Monday. Well, tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, tomorrow. So we'll talk about that a little later. There was also a match between The Miz and Ivar. Of course, what's so weird about this is like Miz had to win, but he cheats to win, and the crowd goes crazy. Like, and yet after the match, Bronson Reed is attacking Ivar. So there was a lot that really transpired between, I hate to say the mid carders, but between, because it's an Impact, we have the X division, and that's like, to me, the most prestigious. It's not a mid card, it's not a high card, it's not a low card. It's literally like you have the X division, right? It's the same to me as like cruiserweight. Not in the same capacity, but to me, the X division holds a little more prestige. Like that's like that. You're just like same with NXT. Like the NXT, I don't know. I feel like Bronson and Ivar and even Miz sometimes. Miz can fluctuate between being a big star and a mid carder. I feel like this is a little mid card story. We're gonna be this is shit like this is why we lose to SmackDown. That's all I'm gonna say. And then stuff like this helps us win close, not win, but not lose as much in a margin, if that makes sense. Very great segment with the Creed brothers making it very clear to Alpha Academy that they might need their services moving forward. And then the New Day pop up. And while all this is going on between the boys, Ivy Nile and Maxine have their interaction, which I think is just, I never even thought of. Like this is what we need. This is what saves us. So shout out to them. Um, doing their thing. Who has the best aerial finisher, Bronson or Ivar? Um, I'm gonna say Nia Jax.
That's not the option. You got to pick between one of those. Like,
I'm gonna say Bronson because I've seen it in person.
hmm.
Yeah, but I do love Tozawa. I think Tozawa is just great. He brings so much to just everything. He's a great addition to TV. Like just period. Wrestling, no matter what he's doing, I love it. But we move on, of course, to the main event. I don't really have much for the main event besides there was a great match between these four men. And Drew McIntyre seems to not be over what happened with the bloodline. And it has seemed to make a deal with, because before we got here, he did shake the hand of Seth Rollins and commended him for being a world champion. For whatever reason, at the end of the night, he is standing tall with Rhea Ripley. And I don't get this. Like I'm telling y'all, and I'm not even gonna lie, because now I can say this because we do the shows later in the week, so I can catch up, right? We can, this still gives Santana time to catch up too. I fell asleep during the show, and I wake up and this is what I see. And I'm just like, I just don't like it. I don't. So there'll be even more questions answered, um, and questions evolving in that sense before being answered, to be honest. When we do see the team of Cody Rhodes, as we saw before, take on Team Judgment Day. Um, and in the end, you know, it looked like a movie, honestly. Finn Balor, Damian Priest. This is the last thing that I could. This is the last ounce of peace that I could hold on to try to make Monday Night Raw win against SmackDown this week, but it's not gonna happen. Uh, it's just not gonna happen. Before we let SmackDown come in and clear us, you know, take the sweep. We are going to 2 weeks in a row. We are going to tell you some matches. Now I don't know how the advantage match works for Survivor Series, so yawn on this one. I really don't know,
I
but
mean,
we will.
normally in the advantage matches, they normally have like from the war games that they've done before. Like we go back to NXT wise, they'll have
Yeah,
like or the ones previously. They'll have like they'll pick one person from their team. Each person pick one person from their team, and then they face each other in a match. And normally, it's, I think it's like a ladder match, and whoever grabs, I guess, the briefcase at the top or some shit like that has the
yeah.
they get the advantage for war games, kind of like
Okay.
what they did last year wise for war games. Now this is for the men wise. We'll talk about the women's for SmackDown because that is probably the dumbest idea ever that they decided to do this year. But
Listen.
mm,
Speaking of the women, we will have a one-on-one match between Becky Lynch and Xia Li, as Becky Lynch made that very clear last week on Monday Night Raw. And now, after the match that we saw, well, I'm sorry, not the match, but after we saw Zoe and Rhea, what happened backstage? Rhea and Shayna were backstage, and I'm sorry, Lord, Zoe and Shayna were backstage, and they were talking, they were having dialogue, and Shayna was giving her respect to Zoe, and Zoe was giving her respect, slightly back to Shayna. Raquel also walks up and gives her respect to Zoe. And then Nia Jax walks up and says, "Girl, y'all in here trying to be respectful and all this." And Raquel stepped up to Nia and really told her, like, "Girl, you've never had a challenge for real. No one's really stepped to you. Let me step to you right quick." And so that's how we got to this match that will happen tomorrow with Raquel and Nia. And I am very, very, very ready for this match. But even with all that, we still lost this week. So we're going to turn it over to the winners. Of course, SmackDown dragging us with their 0 women's matches.
oh wow, let's not get into that. I want no riots to come over here. I don't mind
It's
laying this
still
right now.
real to me, damn it.
I don't
This is
mind laying right now to none of y'all.
this is sports entertainment.
What?
This is
All
sports.
right. Okay, so now we move over to the blue brand. Yeah, y'all already know how y'all was going crazy on social media this past weekend. Luckily, I was attending a WWE live event that had 2 women's matches on the card. So I was enjoying myself while y'all was flustering and going crazy back and forth and doing all y'all shit on social media. I'll let y'all have that. But anyway, we move on to SmackDown this week. Well, this past week and everything, because there was a lot of questions that needed to be answered by certain people on this brand. But nonetheless, we kick off Friday Night SmackDown with the women. Damage Control, bigger, badder, and better, I guess. And they, they had a lot to say in regards to them coming together and being a bigger brand, and Bianca and Charlotte and Shotzi needing to find a fourth member, don't know who their fourth member is going to be, and that it just honestly, but even in the midst of Damage Control being a lot bigger, it definitely seemed as if like Bayley is very much out of place. Like Dakota, Io, Asuka, Kyrie, they look like a cohesive in a sense. But Bayley just looks like she's trying to now fit in a group that she once created, that she was once the leader of. And now it seems like that new leader is either Dakota or possibly Io, since she is the champion. Um, I don't know, man. The way that they were looking at Bayley when Bayley was talking to them, it was just like, mm-mm. Yeah, Bayley's gonna get her ass beat. I'm sorry. It's. I feel like it's coming really soon. Depending on how War Games end, Bayley's gonna get the shit beat out of her.
I feel like Dakota has to be the leader. Like I know Io's the champion,
Yeah.
but if that same principle is like that would make Rhea like she's the champion, right? She's a world champion. So that would mean if Io is the leader, I think Dakota's the leader though. I
Well,
really do. I
she's
feel
the leader, she
confident.
just can't talk, as far as like being a champion wise. But
That's
I
true
do feel
too.
like Dakota is the leader. I feel like
Yeah,
it has trickled
I'm
down.
leaning.
Like
Yeah.
they don't like it started out, of course, being Bayley. Dakota was once, over in Stardom, so I'm pretty sure
This
she
is funny as hell.
how does Dakota speak their language?
That is
Dakota's has been in Stardom before, and she spent a lot of
yeah
time in Stardom. And I'm
with
sure when you're
them.
over there with them, and I'm sure when you're over in Stardom in Japan or whatever, they can teach you some stuff. So you eventually, the amount of years you spend in a place that native language is not English, you will eventually catch on to things. Or they have classes, they teach people how to speak the language over there. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. So same thing with Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport was communicating with Oscar in Japanese, and Blair Davenport spent her time over in Stardom and everything like that
She
too.
did.
So
She did.
all of these girls, they have a lot of history with each other.
They
Now,
really
even
do.
though, Dakota definitely, like I said, feels like the leader. Dakota's speaking a lot more than she's ever spoken within this group when it was just those three, Bayley, Io, and Dakota. Now Dakota's starting to speak a little bit more. Like she feels a little more confident, I guess, per se, and a little more comfortable. Where it's like Bayley doesn't really take a lot of their, feelings into consideration. She makes matches for them. She's doing all types of things. While Dakota, she's just like, this is what Bayley wanted. This is what Damage Control was supposed to be in the beginning. Yes, it took a little minute for us to get to where we need to be, but this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be Damage Control. We are in control of the damage that we cause here on SmackDown. And we're finally having the opportunity to do that. This is what Bayley always wanted. But the girls are now not really rubbing Bayley in a way that they feel like that's likable. So I don't know, but even in the midst of all of this, Shotzi comes out, fake take, and she goes and she tries to take out, Damage Control by herself. And then comes Charlotte, then comes Bianca, but the numbers games are still valid. It's still there. They are still outnumbered by Damage Control. They need a fourth member. You know what I'm saying? And so Nick Aldis let it be known, like, listen, y'all need to find out who your fourth member is going to be tonight. So all throughout the night, Bianca was recruiting people. She tried to recruit Mia Yim. Next thing you know, Mia gets her ass beat backstage. We'll dive a little bit more about other people who got beat up too. And even just the fact of that, like, they're saying, Charlotte, you need to make that call. And Charlotte's all night contemplating about making that call. She doesn't want to. Maybe she won't answer whoever this person is. But I don't know, girl. Still a little interesting down here. But we move into our first match of the night. This was a three-way, I guess you say, tag team match to figure out who the number one contender is going to be to face Judgment Day. We had the Brawling Brutes, Pretty Deadly, and the Street Profits here. And this match was really good. You know, three men starting the ring. This is a great match for the men to figure out. Finally, we're getting, you know, number one contender matches to see who can, bring Judgment Day down to SmackDown so they can defend those titles too instead of running to Cody and Jay and Sammy and all these other people every week. Y'all get tired of that? Well, guess what? Tell them to bring their ass down to SmackDown, and they will be. So there was obviously miscommunication between Pete and Ridge with the bro kick that Pete gave to Ridge, but he was not trying to do that. Pretty Deadly and moving out of the way. And so in the midst of all of that, the Street Profits end up winning, and so they will have the chance to face Judgment Day for those Undisputed Tag Team Championships. But there's obviously, like I said, some tension between the Brawler and Bruce because even after the match, Pete tried to have a little bit of a conversation with Ridge where Ridge was just not feeling it. Now, Ridge, let me tell you something. I've been sparing you a lot because social media be beating your ass, okay? I spared you a lot because you're in the same group with my men. Don't listen. He didn't. You know that man was not trying to do that to you. He was not trying to hit you. He was not trying to do any of that. You know what I'm saying? So pushing him caused him to not be here yesterday. Okay, because y'all got y'all shit going on now. So don't piss me off. Okay, I be sparing you because everybody else be jumping you. Okay, if you start something with my men, I'm gonna join everybody on social media and jump you. Period. It's over with. So, but yeah. Then we move on to Dragon Lee versus Axiom. It's really nice to see Axiom on TV while his main roster because of course he's been doing his, done his stuff down in NXT, and in all over and stuff like that. So to see him and Dragon Lee be in this match for SmackDown, I thought it was really good. Axiom, Dragon Lee, like they've done this before in NXT from what I can remember somehow. So I believe they were in that triple threat match. I think they had Wes Lee in there too. And that match went crazy itself. But to see these two in particular have a one-on-one match, the Spanish Fly from the top rope, it was great, but it wasn't that enough to not impress Dragon Lee because he ended up getting the victory in this match here. So shout out to Axiom for doing an amazing job on SmackDown, and shout out to Dragon Lee. He continued his, I guess you can say, undefeated streak in a sense because anybody he's been stepping into the ring with thus far, even though it's just been, I guess you can say, filler matches to build up him some type of credibility being on SmackDown and everything like that. It does help. He fought Cedric 2 weeks in a row, and each one of those matches got better and better. Now he's facing Axiom. I'm sure they will maybe want to run it again. I'll be interested to see who he faces this week for Friday Night SmackDown too. But shout out to Axiom. Hoping to see a little bit more of him on TV too because Axiom, I know Deadline is coming up, but Axiom in their Iron Survivor match last year, him and JD in that damn box, crazy. It was everything. So all right. So now we really have to get into some things that's going on right now that I'm trying to get a better understanding of, and also trying to gather my thoughts since all of this transpired. So of course, at Crown Jewel, Ray versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Logan Paul wins, but Santos is sort of the reason why Rey Mysterio lost that championship because he left those brass knuckles in the open when he could have just took them with him. And so the week prior, they all come out. LWO come out. Carlito wasn't out yet. Carlito comes out and say, listen, are we going to try to overlook everything that happened? Santos Escobar is the reason why you lost that championship. That caused a lot of friction between them. And then after Carlito's match, Carlito got jumped by Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Just sat there, stood there, watch it, very hesitant about if he was going to jump in. And then Rey Mysterio comes out with a chair, runs off Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Santos grabs Rey. He starts to, this is about us, blah, blah, this and that. He started grabbing on Rey. Rey smashed shit out of him like, bro, get the fuck off me. What are you doing? Calm the fuck down. Like, relax. So then he goes out trying to help Carlito. Santos attacks Rey Mysterio, and he starts to beat the hell out of Carlito. So now LWO is in shambles, and obviously Santos is a lone wolf, I guess, and he's no longer a part of LWO. Like, he's done and everything. Comes out and basically says that, Rey, I don't give a fuck about you. It's supposed to be you and I. You brought all these new people around trying to build something that I didn't even ask for. It's supposed to be you and me. You know what I'm saying? And then you bring Carlito, his old ass. You're going to bring him and be a part of the LWO. Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? And then you start having attention for everybody except for me. You forgot who I was. Not only that, Dawn was right. You took an opportunity from me that should have been mine, per se, and you end up winning the United States Championship. That's supposed to be mine. You took that away from me. And even though we had our match, you still beat me. Whatever. At the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck. Carlito brought his old ass. I hate his fro. I hate everything about him. And I hope they amputate your damn leg and you say your ass away from wrestling, period. Now, mind you, I'm going crazy over here because, like, Santos, why would you even say that? What is wrong with you?
This is when SmackDown really started cooking. Like, this is when they was really getting in their bag. I was like, yeah, we finna lose. I was like, if Charlotte can get that phone call, they finna lose. Cause Santos, he really was like, he was cooking. Outfit, he looked nice, everything was good. I don't know, girl. Like, he really cooked Rey bad. You told that man, you hope they amputate your leg. That's crazy. It's hell. Like, that's just I like that. That's my type of, yeah. Oh,
I couldn't even fathom exactly what was
now
happening.
Rey can still wrestle with an amputated leg. He just get a
Girl, we're
paper.
not doing that. Man, we're not even thinking about amputations or anything like that. I'm
My
not
man,
I'm not doing that.
my
These are two of
man.
my men. These are my people. Okay. I was rocking LWO last night at the live show. Okay. I am still in recovery. I have not recovered since all of this has happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I am still very much upset with you. I am. You look good, but I am upset. I am heartbroken in so many different ways. Just like Zelina Vega, extremely heartbroken because she's just still trying to figure out Santos. This is about all of us. She's like, girl, let me tell you something, Zelina. I am done with you. Okay, I'm done with you. I'm done with that old ass Carlito. I'm done with the two washed up, got all different types of people. I'm done with all y'all. I don't want to. We're done. Period. Zelina slaps shit out of him, walks away, and then Raheem and Cruz come out, try to figure like, bro, what is this? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why would you even do that to Rey? You hurt Zelina. Like, Santos like still on the same thing. Fuck y'all. I ain't trying to kick with you, skate with you, nothing. Like, I'm not trying to do none of that no more. We done. Period. So then he attacks them, and then out comes Carlito, and it's like, now we're fucking here. Carlito versus Santos Escobar at Survivor Series. And now I'm gonna be in even more shambles again. Every time I turn around, my men are always fighting each other. Why? Why can't y'all there's so many people on that roster that y'all can fight. And y'all always choose each other. Is this karma for me? Like,
I don't know. I hope Santos win though.
I feel like something's gonna happen here. I will say that because
What's gonna be crazy is if they both start beating the shit out of Rey.
okay. Well, hopefully Rey's not going to be there, but
Maybe. Well,
No.
I don't, I don't know, but I do think this was not supposed to be like. I do think it was supposed to be Ray versus Santos.
I mean, it could have been. I think it would have trickled down the line. I mean, it started to
Yeah,
show a little bit in with Santos and everything. Khalil got to have a lot of apples on standby, girl.
but we might get like Ray versus Santos at like WrestleMania or some shit.
It's possible. I think as soon as Ray, I mean, he did have a successful surgery and everything like that. So I think that when Ray, gets back into the motion and everything, I think it's going to be it may be in a different light of where Santos will probably have his own crew of people. And then
Yeah,
we have Carlito and Joaquin and Cruz and Zelina versus like Santos and maybe Angel and Umberto and maybe Electra Lopez, or hell, if Lola Vice doesn't do what she needs to do down there to get that damn NXT title, maybe she'll be with them. You gotta keep
maybe.
it all in the family. So thank you, Jeffrey, for reading my mind. But either way, this match will be happening at Survivor Series this weekend, and we will have our predictions on Friday for you guys to fully dive into um, all of this, because I'm
Yep.
sure they'll have some other stuff happening for Survivor Series leading up to our
Yeah.
prediction show. Also, we had a match between Grayson Waller and Cameron Grimes. Theory was out there, of course. Kevin Owens is still suspended, so he is unable to be here as of right now because they started with him and he was told not to put his hands on people, especially if he's going to be in the commentary seat. And he did otherwise because he was provoked. Nick Aldis. But Nick and I, we definitely see things a little bit differently, but he's the head one in charge, and I just, I follow suit sometimes, but I do go a little behind his back to get things taken care of. So, no, it does not take you off the list. You're still on my list. Okay. But yeah, great match for what it's worth, but Theory definitely got himself involved and became much of a distraction, which ended up assisting Grayson Waller with getting that victory. Those two, even though they are annoying to others, they work really well as a team. I think they're both collectively together a bunch of assholes. So, shout out to Grayson and Austin Theory. And I don't know what that leads for them though, but obviously, whenever Kevin Owens does come back from his suspension, he's not going to be done with those two. By no means necessary, because Kevin hold grudges against people, and it takes a while for him to decide if he wants to not hold that grudge anymore to you. Better ask Jey Uso. So I will tell you that. Speaking of Jey Uso, his brothers, Jimmy Uso and Solo, alongside Paul Heyman, were out here, of course, talking about Crown Jewel, of course, talking about John Cena, and even try to play with the crowd to say, "Oh, Cena's here! Welcome the 16th time world champion, John Cena." Then he starts singing his theme song, and then Cena does not show up. We don't know where Cena is. Seems like he's off the radar as we speak right now. But obviously, they also still have their own issues with this man here, LA Knight. Of course, it definitely lead into LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso in a match. And well, it was going, swell for what it was. And then even though he did get that victory over him, Solo was not having it at all whatsoever. Solo did come out and he did attack LA Knight. And then him and Jimmy started to attack LA Knight together right before Cody Rhodes, who was sitting in Nick Aldis' office for what reason, have absolutely no idea what that was about. But he comes out and he comes to the aid of LA Knight to take out Solo and Jimmy Uso, because of course Cody still has his issues with the bloodline. He is not too fond of them, especially with the fact of that Jimmy has been the one to also cost them their tag titles once before when they had just won them. And of course, I mean, hey, still bloodline issues. Cody has not finished what he needed to complete. He's on a bunch of side quests right now, and up until he gets to that main story that he needs to complete. Now we are back with the women closing out the show. Now, mind you, from the beginning stages of what I was talking about between LWO's segment and everything with Santos and Zelina, even though what happened to Cruz and Joaquin, Bianca was trying to recruit Zelina Vega, and she was seen talking to her, and then soon commercial break come back, Zelina Vega is laid out on the ground hurting, and Damage Control is laughing, walking off. Bianca shows up, and it's like everybody, the people that Bianca has reached out to try to get to come, Mia, Zelina, both got attacked by Damage Control, and now it's like, well, Charlotte, you have.
We don't know that.
Yes, we do. We do know that. We're not doing that stuff they do on NXT up in here. We're not doing. You're not gonna blame a black woman for these people get jumped. We're not doing that. Not up in here. Not up in here. We're not doing that.
We don't know who attacked them.
But we know who attacked them. Okay, we saw that. They did not need to show Bianca recruiting people.
They really did. After she told Charlotte to tell, like after she told Charlotte to call that woman, like girl.
Y'all saying like, well, because Charlotte was still contemplating all night if she was gonna call her, she was gonna pick up the phone and answer and blah blah and all this and that. So Bianca had to do something. Charlotte wasn't going around asking nobody. Shotzi, I don't even know what the hell she was doing. And Bianca was like, listen, obviously she's apparently supposed to be the team captain, and she's going around looking to see who's left. She damn sure wasn't gonna go to BFAB because, child, that's like going to City Trends.
We still saw her though.
We did. She was still running behind somebody else's group because obviously hers failed. But
there it is.
Ta-da. But yeah, so finally at the closing of the show, Shotzi, Charlotte, Bianca out here to let us know who the final person is going to be for to join them for War Games. And well, they couldn't even truly get it out yet because Damage Control decided that, well, you know what? Y'all really don't have any friends. We've taken out people that you've already asked. So who honestly do you have that is going to join y'all? Nobody. Nobody likes y'all. Nobody gives a damn about y'all. So explain to us exactly who do you have? Zelina knocked out. Mia knocked the hell out. Yeah. Who else you got? Well, they had one person in mind, and it was the man Becky Lynch. And before we dive into this, you go back to other episodes of Raw versus SmackDown. I did say that Becky was going to be that person to join them. I did make that very clear. Even though a lot of people are like, nah, it's gonna be somebody else. It's gonna be Mercedes, it's gonna be Sasha, it's gonna be Mickie James, it's gonna be all these other people. Girl, I just told y'all it's gonna be Becky. Come on now. Like, I get it. It's a respective head nod between Charlotte and Becky. It's what I will say, this is a great moment for fans of the Four Horsewomen. But more so in particular with Becky and Charlotte, because we know how things turned out last year for Survivor Series Survivor Series. Well, no, 2 years ago, I will say that. Because at the time, both Becky and Charlotte were champions of their respective brands. And that whole situation there and blah, blah, and that would lead to their even more of a opening match for that Survivor Series. But now, here we are, 2 years later, and they're standing side by side, you know what I'm saying? Giving each other the respective head nod. And then we get into our brawl, ladies and gentlemen. We get into our big brawl that sets us up for exactly War Games. It is complete. According to Michael Cole, Team Charlotte has found their fourth member. And, well, it happens to be the man, Becky Lynch. Now, it makes moments like this even special because of the fact that we do have another Four Horsewomen a part of this, and that's Bayley. You know what I'm saying? I know, if only.
Yeah, it sucks.
If only, you know what I'm saying? Could you imagine? It's Team Sharbex versus Team Boss Connection like boxing hug, and all this stuff there. Like, could you imagine all of that
It would
happening?
be better. It would have been nice because I know it's hard for them all to be on the same team, but it would have been
Right.
nice to see all them be able to at least be in it together. But th- three of them is it's not enough, but it's just like damn, like that says something. Like that's
Yeah.
because it's Bailey. We know that if it was still like this, Sasha would be with Bailey. We just know that.
Of
And
course.
then with
Automatic.
Charlotte and with Charlotte and Bex, it's
Mhm.
like damn, like this is so like honestly and truly, this is so unbelievable because this is just something that I just never thought would ever like happen again. Like we're literally living in a time of people really wanting the Four Horsewomen, that whole saga to be over.
Yeah.
And now people are hype from what I've seen. I haven't
Yeah.
seen people be upset. But
Right.
especially for us Four Horsewomen, like literally, and people know this, like the Four Horsewomen literally are my like entire existence in modern day wrestling. Like now I've evolved to watching so many different other women and athletes and different people, and I love them. The four will always be my foundation. Like this is what longevity is about. This is long term booking. This is sports entertainment. I know people were very upset that there was zero women's matches, but this is this is so much bigger than just a match. This is so much bigger than just a 5 minute match or a 10 minute match or a 15 minute match or an hour match.
This is a moment.
Like this is, and even the moment of them opening the show, like
Yeah.
I spent Friday night really hackling people hackling me, trolling, whatever it was. And at the end of the day, like I still stand by what I said. Like while this was going on, there were other women featured on television, AEW, Collision, Rampage. There was over 20 different women showcased on wrestling on a Friday night.
Hmm.
But yet, because there's zero match on SmackDown, we're supposed to feel like women's wrestling is suffering. I don't feel that way. You know what I do feel like? I was sports entertained from a brand that sports entertainment.
Hmm.
Like what the fuck are we like what are we doing? Like what the fuck are we talking about? Like no, there wasn't a match.
It didn't need to be one though. That's the
It
thing.
really
Like
didn't.
we're building story here that leads up to something that's happening next week. Well, this week per se. I still think we're in last week, but
Y'all can't even figure
you know.
out who the devil. Y'all not even telling us. They literally gave we didn't even know anything about nothing about Charlotte making a phone call until that night. That problem was solved that night. We've been known about this devil situation, and we still don't even know who the hell the devil is.
That is true.
I don't
Y'all said
know.
something. Thought maybe y'all would have found that out last night at Full Gear, but I guess not. I guess they're trying to build story over there,
Yeah.
um, and continue on with it because obviously that's something that lacks. But what doesn't lack here is the fact of that we have two friends that alleged beef put everybody in a frenzy on social media. Everybody having think pieces, opinionated pieces, facts, rumors, whatever you want to call it, all throughout social media to talk about what was going on with Charlotte and Becky because of a title switch and so on and so forth. But nonetheless, we're now in the present where maybe some people thought that we'll never see Charlotte and Becky be on the same side anymore. You
Yeah.
know? So, I mean, Maybe we do get tea time next week since SmackDown will be on FS1. Maybe we do get that. But for me wise, I wasn't at this time where the Four Horsemen was going on. I wasn't watching NXT. I didn't know about them until they came to the main roster. You know what I'm saying? I was watching when Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha debuted on Monday Night Raw wise, while Bailey was still down in NXT. You know what I'm saying? And now seeing their growth and actually going back and watching NXT, I see why people were fans of the Four Horsewomen in those molds, because those were women that changed the mold for women's wrestling that was not seen in this industry in WWE period. You know what I'm saying? Those women were not saying that the one before was not. They could only do what they could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But those women, whether they were homegrown or on the indies, they were putting on matches. NXT was definitely a way to build up those stars that you see today that are well appreciated. Whether you say, oh, this person gets more opportunities than that person, blah, blah. The Four Horsewomen haven't really truly been in the spotlight in a while, per se. And there have been moments where a lot of the other girls who are coming up behind them have been put in that spotlight. Some of them can hold up and be that standard of the Four Horsewomen, and some of them cannot. So appreciate those who was. Now, what I would say would be quite interesting that, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Sasha was still in WWE. And then how we had the Undisputed Era be the ones who would own War Games. Can you imagine we had the Four Horsewomen owning War Games for the main roster wise? Where you have your Sasha, your Bailey, your Becky, your Charlotte facing the newcomers like a Bianca Belair, a Raquel, a Rhea Ripley. And who would that fourth one be?
It's normally, I've seen people when it's Bianca, Raquel, Rhea, and Io. I've always seen people include Io in that because of where she came up, but you can put Shayna in that.
That's true
as well. But she belongs to her own four with Jessica and Marina and Ronda. I do think it's very interesting. I don't know what happens after this though. I'm too anticipating, like, because Charlotte's on SmackDown, and then obviously Becky is on Raw, and Becky has a lot going on right now, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be nice that, after, of course, War Games happen and everything like that. And of course, like we said, we have it official now. Shotzi, Becky, Charlotte, Bianca taking on Io, Bailey, Asuka, Kairi. Women's War Games. Brought to you by fucking Ruffles, because they're the reason why they don't necessarily get an actual advantage match. You have to vote online on who you think deserves the advantage. Why did they do that? I have no idea, but this match is presented by Ruffles. What's your favorite flavor of Ruffles, Nikki?
The cheddar sour. I think it's cheddar sour cream, maybe. But it's the cheddar ones for sure. I love Ruffles. I know they have some hot flaming
flavor. Those are the ones I like. I like those.
Those are good.
Yo, what?
Yeah.
Man, Ruffles with
I love
like
Ruffles,
a cheese sandwich, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy time. That's when you like, you struggling. Oh yeah, you struggling throughout the week or something.
Yeah,
there is nothing like a good ass ham and cheese sandwich. I'm not gonna even lie.
That's true.
That you ain't having in a while. Yeah, I'm just saying it because all last week, that's all I had was ham and cheese. I was like, damn, this shit really go crazy. All right, you toast your bread and everything, and then you put your ham and cheese in there, whatever condiments you use, put in the microwave. Yeah. You in the hood now, baby. Okay.
I feel you.
But yeah,
I don't know who they're gonna give the advantage to. I think it's gonna be Bailey in them though. I think it's gonna be Damage Control.
I feel like it will be. I mean, of course, it's the baby face over, so they gotta
Yeah.
do something. The question is, I think that Shotzi and Kyrie might start the match off. I just feel like
See,
that.
I think it's gonna be Charlotte and Oscar.
Mm.
And I think Bex comes out, and I think, well, I think if they get the advantage. If they don't get the advantage, I think that Bailey's going to be the last one. I do think Bailey's going to be the last one to come out.
Yeah, it sucks that Dakota can't be in this, though.
But we know it should be Bianca and Bailey starting off. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get you a nice clinical match between those two. Honestly,
there's some good feels. I think it should be like Charlotte Bailey, Bianca and Charlotte. I mean Bianca and Bailey, Becky and Oscar, Becky and Bailey. Like I think it should be like that.
What I do want to see is what the interaction is going to be like between Charlotte and Becky on Friday, because on TV they gave each other a head. Now I know what y'all was posting on social media wise, Becky crying.
Well, even on TV, she Becky wiped herself off and was like,
yeah, like I want to see what what that like, girl, Becky, calm down. Okay, I know you still in character. You got to play the part like, I'm cordial with you. I'm cool with you right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we have a common enemy, and that's Damage Control. You know what I'm saying? So, but if Damage Control loses, Bailey, girl, you better get the fuck out of there now.
Yeah.
ASAP, because either they beat your ass Saturday night, or you get your ass beat on Friday. Either way, if you stay, you can get your ass beat.
That's
like Jay Wild said. So, like Jay Wild told Angelina, you can stay and get your ass beat.
Period.
Pick your poison right now. So, I don't know why I thought would they run a train on her. I'm sorry.
It's time to go. It's time to go.
All right. So, but yeah, so this is what's happening for Survivor Series, and we'll definitely give our predictions on that this coming Friday. Also, Kevin Owens return next week, and he will be on the Grayson Waller Effect show and everything like that. And also because the Street Profits did win that number one contenders match, they will be taking on Damian Priest and Finn Balor for that undisputed tag team championships. And that's pretty much everything for Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown this week will be taking place on FS1. So definitely make sure you mark your calendars for that. For those who, I guess, when SmackDown went to FS1 once before, a lot of people on social media were acting like they don't know what the fuck FS1 is. Like they have not been there before. Sometimes wrestling fans be pissing me off because sometimes y'all like y'all dumb. Like SmackDown has been on FS1 before. How else have you found it?
It really. But they'll find it. They don't even pull up the FS1 because they'd be somewhere else watching it.
Damn idiot. So Bailey do got a bump that. Oh, Jeffrey.
Bye.
We're about to send your ass to jail. I'm going. We're not doing that. All right, but yeah, so that brings us basically to the conclusion of Raw versus SmackDown. We will, of course, be back on Tuesday for NXT Uncut, and then for Impact on Access TV, the best Impact post show ever.
No, we won't.
Oh shit, I forgot. It's Thanksgiving. My bad. Listen, I be thinking that we just be doing stuff, but we have a lot that we do here. It is Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, because they be doing that with IWFP PGPF match. They be doing. They be dressing all characters. I thought that was Thursday. They were doing.
Is that Thursday?
I believe this is Thursday. The reason why we're not doing Impact
I thought it was
is
just
because
a Thanksgiving special of like
is it?
different old.
Don't quote
That's
me
the
now.
graphic they put up. They didn't put anything about IPW. I mean IPFW.
Well, I know that they have filmed it like a while
I don't
back,
know though. I know they had a show,
but I thought maybe
but
they
I
would have
don't
been.
think they've aired it yet. So they might do that.
That's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah,
I
who
think
knows?
that's kind of what they. Well,
But we
I
won't
don't.
be here.
All
Okay.
right. Well, we won't be here, so you can catch us back Friday then for
Predictions.
Survivor Series predictions show and everything like that, and
Yeah.
then catch us on Saturday for Survivor Series itself. Um,
Yeah. We'll be
so
doing depending on not depending on anything, just my location. Yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna be at, but
mhm,
um I'll probably be at WrestleCade. Either way, I'm not. There's no show going on. There's nothing going on, so I'm trying to
mhm.
be. If I'm not there, I'm gonna be like somewhere settled watching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's that important, like to watch live. So,
Mhm, mhm. Of course.
um,
But I mean, yeah,
and
that's
then
pretty much all that we have this week. NXT Uncut, no Impact show predictions on Friday, and then Survivor Series post show on Saturday. So yeah, we'll keep you covered and log virtually for everything that's happened this week. I have to work on Survivor Series graphics.
yeah,
We're going to be going to war. I'm putting on my Cody Rhodes face paint and everything. Yeah,
yo, that is disgusting.
we're about to go to war games. So.
Okay, for those that are rewatching the replay, thank y'all for tuning in. Um, you found my Mercedes fan page? Did I? I wonder which one is it.
That's a good
Let me
question.
find out. Not Jeffrey running stand accounts.
Ugh, he is a fan.
I know that's right. Um, but yeah, you replay 5:30. That's our regular time on Mondays. So shout out to
Mhm.
everyone who came and watched it again with us. But yeah, that's it, honey. Take us
We
on
thank.
home, Santana, honey.
Well, I hope y'all are home, but as always, definitely, we thank you guys for hanging out with us here on Raw versus SmackDown. Like I said, we'll be back on Tuesday for NXT Uncut because, girl, there's a lot that's going on over there. They did announce who was going to be in the qualifying matches for the Iron Survivor. JBL is supposed to be doing that. I think they did announce it on. Oh yeah, because it's pre. All right, whatever. Definitely come in because we got a lot to talk about that. Because baby, from what I saw, I'm
Yeah.
about to tell somebody to come outside because I got some questions. But anyway, definitely come back Tuesday for NXT Uncut, 11:30 p.m. Central Time and everything like that. So he said bank on Monet, one from Instagram, the one I screenshot it. It might be one. I think it was one that you had actually
Uh,
liked and
the one where
everything
I
on
was like,
Instagram.
they go boom, there go my name.
Yeah.
Love
Thank
you.
you, Battleground Podcast, too, as well, for always having us here. The Shakers Den
Hey,
definitely
he was
continues to
going
follow us.
crazy.
Huh?
I'll tell y'all a little fun fact. So I work at the stadium and where the Nashville Predators play hockey, and Tim Battle, who does Battleground Podcast, is the DJ. And when I tell you, he was going crazy. That was my first hockey game. I posted on my Instagram and social media and shit. He was going crazy last night. Even played one of Santana's favorite songs, Jumpin', Jumpin'. And then even at the end played Glorious. Like it was just immaculate. So I just want to give a big shout out to him. But yeah, shout out to Battleground. So
Yeah. Shout out to Battleground Podcast, like I said, is always having us here for the Shakers Den. Definitely continue to follow our socials at the Shakers Den on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, of course. Follow Nikki's Twitch, Nikki Bougie. Follow my Twitch at Holistic, and so on and so forth. You can find Nikki on Twitter as well at Nikki Bougie, or you can Google her too. As for me, you can always Google me, Dreon Santana. I finally have, like, I went and searched my name today, right? Just fun fact. And now I'm able to, like, Google has this claim, this knowledge panel for like people to be verified or whatever. So thank you guys for Googling me, because now I can claim myself as being a verified person on Google. So that means that I'm known.
No, that's right.
OOGLE, me, research me, you'll find me, click them keys and Google me.
You gave the monologue.
Please, no, that's not what I wanted. Thank you very much. Anyway, once again, as always, thank you guys for hanging out with us here. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday or enjoy the rest of your Monday, those who'll be watching on the replay. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday for NXT Uncut, 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good night, guys. Yeah, I'm going to get that check mark and a check.
Damn.